So we're deep into the list of the attributes of the Dharma. And the one I'm going to speak about today is Akaliko, not bound by time. I want to welcome anybody who's new. If this is your first time coming into the topic, you may hear some words, some Pali words. We try to use them sparingly and try to use more of the language that we're talking in English. But occasionally I'll bring up the Pali word, the Buddhist word for this characteristic of the Dharma. And it's often translated as timeless, immediate, or not bound by time. And it's interesting, as with most lists in Buddhism, they're not in order. So this kind of idea of or experience of something being timeless or immediate or not bound by time. We started talking about it yesterday, even in the characteristic of the Dharma is good in the beginning, middle, and end. But it could easily link up with its onward leading and inward leading, or that we each have to find the Dharma for itself. Like these attributes will link together uniquely. And that's one of the reasons why we talk about our own experience in meditation, is because we want to hear how these are coming out in your experience. So I'm going to start with a little further away understanding. This is like a bigger understanding of time, Buddhist understanding of time. And in early Buddhism, they talk about the appearance of a Buddha happens within this enormous expanse of time, that Buddhas come in eons, E-O-N-S. And I had never heard that word. It's again, it's this extraordinary length of time. The length of time it takes to wear away a mountain is what it said. So Siddhartha Gautama is the Buddha of our time, of our eon. And according to Buddhist tradition, or again, early traditions, some of the later traditions, that the teachings will be available for a period of time and then they gradually disappear from the world. And then another Buddha will come. Or as Thich Nhat Hanh has said, the next Buddha will be the Sangha. The Sangha will then carry on the teachings. But I find it's interesting they've already even named the next Buddha, Maitreya. So this is kind of, again, within the cosmology of early Buddhism. And while the example is larger than life, I do think most of us have an intuitive sense of the vastness of time, as well as the limits of time in our own lives. So I'm thinking about time and timing, and I have a habit of saying timing is everything. Now, mostly it's because I love this song by Garrett Hedlund. He sings, "Timing is everything." It's just a beautiful song. But then while I'm singing it, I'm also thinking, can it really be everything? Probably not. According to conditionality, we look at one thing isn't everything. But there is something important to me about that phrase, because sometimes things happen when they're ready to happen. We push and push and push and nothing much moves. The mountain, in my mind, hasn't worn away yet. And then something changes. Not necessarily because we figured out the right thing to do, but because conditions have changed. And maybe even sometimes conditions that we can't know or put language to yet. So conditionality has this mysterious edge to it at times. We don't know why things flip or change. We don't know why suddenly the same action that didn't work 6 months ago suddenly works now. Or like, for example, some conversations that seem impossible to have, we can suddenly have them, or not suddenly, gradually even. Or this one is always interesting to me, that the same teaching that I've heard 100 times suddenly lands, and I go, oh, I really get that now. I understand it in a different way. So I'd like to remember this, but I don't really think even an arm tattoo would quite do it, that timing is everything. Because I think within new situations, there are new things to learn. Um, so patience doesn't come in the same way when I'm recovering from eye surgery as it does when I'm waiting in line at the grocery store or I'm waiting for fire season to be over. The time in each scenario is different. And when these scenarios happen at different times in our lives, we have different capacities and limits. So I think how I would describe this attribute is time is weird. Weirder at some times than others, but time is weird. So I think if you're a meditator, reflective meditation, we've heard each other talk about our experiences. We get a glimpse of this. You sit down to meditate, you think it's 5 minutes and 30 minutes have passed. You're surprised by the bell, can't believe it. Or you sit down for a very long time, time is not ending, you open your eyes and only 10 minutes has gone by. So we just know that we have all kinds of combinations of this. And in meditation, our ordinary experience of time is less reliable. We really have to explore it more, investigate it more, see what we can learn from that time being strange or weird. Meditation really becomes like a laboratory of observing time and experiencing it differently. But it really isn't only in meditation that time can feel faster or slower or non-existent or bound. We may notice that our experience is, of timing is in relationship to what we're doing, to what's happening. If we're in pain, time can feel endless. Some headaches, for me, they've lasted eons. In creative pleasures, time goes away. We lose track of it. Maybe we don't even experience time. And other times we can spend, however many minutes worrying about something that hasn't even happened. And we experience it like we've been living through it for hours. So, getting ready to wrap up here. I'm going to go into just one other aspect of the right time. I want to be careful when I say the phrase right time, not just because of right and wrong trap, but also because I hear a view, and I use this myself, sometimes accurately, sometimes not, but the view of everything happens for a reason. And I really want to consider the implication here that there's some perfect cosmic schedule on two things. If we just wait long enough, everything will resolve itself. And I don't really think that that's the part of the Dharma that we're focusing on here. So I'm bringing in the other translation of immediate, because the immediate is also goes with timeless and not bound by time. That the Dharma is available now, not someday when we're healthier or when our relationships are sorted out or when we're peaceful, only when we're peaceful. And not when we finally think, we're the person we're supposed to be. And not when we've experienced the right meditative state. The Dharma meets us here, where we're at right now in this moment, at this time. And we spend an enormous amount of time measuring ourselves against time. I should have done this by now. I should be further along. I thought I would have figured this out already. I think that one a lot. It's too late. I don't have enough time. As we age, our bodies and our capacities are changing. We know that. We've talked about it here a lot. But not everything diminishes at the same time. We may become better listeners as our eyesight diminishes or as our body limits us from walking around the way we used to. We may be able to appreciate our surroundings more, or be softer with our inner worlds and with our capacities changing. So timing matters. It's It's not everything, though. But there's one other meaning, and I think I'm finding meaning in this, that we live in a time where the teachings have not been lost to us. They're here. They're around. We have access to the Dharma in more ways than we have ever had, which could be overwhelming, and that's another place you could get lost. But we do have access to it, and it's available now, even though we might not feel it, or might feel like we get it or understand it yet. Who knows if we're in the beginning, middle, or end? Sometimes you can't even tell. So I think I'll end there. Thank you very much for listening this morning. I'm just going to change my view, and again, just say